born on a mountaintop in Tennessee. Green estate.
The first 78 I ever bought was a theme from Davy Crockett.
Davy Crockett.
Love that song.
Wild frontier.
That's where my earliest musical memories came from, were the themes to TV songs.
1, 2, 3, 4. Rock and roll.
The number one problem with being a rock star, losing your mind. I used to go in the backyard, swing on the swings with my cousin and sing. You know, I knew every one. I knew all the detective shows. 77 Sunset Strip.
77 Sunset Strip.
You know, remember Surfside 6? What's that? Surfside 6.
In Miami Beach.
And especially, I like the Westerns. Back when the West was very young, there was a man named Master Son. He wore a cane and derby hat. They called him Bad Master Son. I learned all of those. When I was a kid, I was a walking encyclopedia. I could sing you the theme song from Branded.
Branded, scorned is the one who ran.
Maverick was a legend of the West. I love that song. And James Garner was one of my favorite actors back then. A lot of our action heroes of later years, like Clint Eastwood, was Rowdy Yates on Rawhide. As a matter of fact, the theme from Rawhide was an all-time classic. Rollin', 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 keep them doggies moving rawhide. That's where my earliest musical memories came from, were the themes to TV songs. When my mother, I must have been 13 years old, found a guitar in the alley behind our house. And it was I'll never forget, it was a harmony guitar. I think it was a harmony Sovereign with F holes. Remember the F holes? And the neck was cracked. It was unplayable. The action was that high. But I somehow managed to pick out the melody of Tom Dooley, which was a big hit that year. Ding, 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 ding. And it was just, you know, it was just a fun thing. But then I bugged her and she let me buy a guitar. And we asked my Uncle James, who was kind of like knew about these things, where is the best place to buy a guitar? We got a good cheap guitar here in Baltimore. He says, oh, you got to go to a pawn shop. And he sent us to the biggest pawn shop in all of Baltimore. Unbeknownst to my mother and I, it was on the Block. The Block, the most infamous block of strip clubs and sex stores and bars and strip clubs and sex stores and bars. And we had to walk the gauntlet. It was like 2 blocks of solid strip clubs. And in those days, they had barkers. Come on in, kid. See the naked ladies and all this kind of stuff. My mother pulling me down the street. I'm 13. She's pulling me like, my eyes are this big and I'm looking at them, checking out. I hear saxophone music. Oh my God, there's a woman with her breasts hanging out. My mother dragged me down that street in Olympic time, pulled me into the pawn shop. We were safe in there, and I bought a K guitar for $40. K, a budget line guitar, not even as nice as the Harmony had it not been cracked. And that was the beginning of it. And by the time the Beatles hit, see, this is the important part of the story. I already knew the 3 chords of life, you know, C, G, and D. But this was my first guitar. This was the one that I wrote all my fact. I remember the first song I ever wrote was, Hey, pretty girl. I don't even remember the words, but it was, Hey, pretty girl. Really basic, just make you cringe kind of stuff. But from there, I went to pretentious love songs, and then I jumped to topical material. And by the time I saw the Beatles on Ed Sullivan, that historic date, everything changed. You can really carve my life into 2 parts, pre-Beatles, post-Beatles.
Thank you. Rock and roll.